We're going? It's recording now?
I did the fucking countdown.
Okay, alright. Well, welcome to...
goddamn intro.
Welcome to a groggy version of Podspill. This is Gen 2. We have more...
equipment.
We have better equipment. And hopefully, our cell phone feeds won't go through it. Soren just took his away, so that you're probably going to hear a lot of beeps.
Son of a bitch.
I'm John. And to my left is Soren.
Good to be back.
And to his
Left.
left.
Yep.
It's a circle, John. And it's Malcolm.
Well, technically, yeah, it's a circle, so I'm not wrong. Well, I'm wrong. I am wrong.
Oh, none of us had our coffee yet, so please excuse me.
I had some, but
Oh, good.
I'm just a chipper Mormon.
You don't
I don't need that
drink
coffee.
Gotta get that.
Did you see, speaking of Mormons, wow, you're
Jeez.
right, we could just segue right into things. See, BYU is allowing
soda, yeah.
Everyone I know,
everyone's been
everyone's
texting me to let me know that I can now drink soda. Even though we've been allowed to drink soda, this is revolutionary for us because now you can buy soda also.
It's like
on a college campus.
Wow.
Legit entity saying it's okay now.
Game changer.
We're gonna get rid of some old things, guys.
All right. Well, this is going so well.
New topic.
So we have a list of topics that we're gonna discuss this on this one. I guess do we want to begin with controversy?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's talk about PewDiePie.
The PEWDS.
So for those of you that don't know or are not into YouTube, people playing video games, which is a huge section of YouTube, PewDiePie is a man that he plays games for children on the internet, and he has made a lot of money. I didn't even know this much YouTube money existed. However, he is also an appalling racist, apparently.
Apparently.
He made $12 million last year. Just so you know how much is a lot of money.
Good.
$12 million last year. I
really,
think that includes losing his Disney sponsorship.
I'm very happy that he was able to make that much money off of doing the things he does. Yeah, so this is... So what exactly happened then? So he was on a Twitch stream.
He was on a Twitch stream of PUBG and accidentally, in quotation marks, let the N-word slip out. As you know, terrible human beings do.
It happens to the best of us, I guess. But yeah, no, but he's...
I don't know about that, John.
Well, yeah, that was sarcasm.
Yeah, definitely does not happen.
That was, yeah.
No, it can happen to the best of us. It happens a lot to the worst of us.
It happens to PewDiePie.
They're the people who, go around in the Nazi gear and get punched on the subway.
Right.
He just gets paid $12 million.
He just gets paid $12 million.
Yes.
No?
He is not a good person.
Has he said anything
He's come out with 2 reaction response videos, and then
Which
he did another video.
Watching, by the way.
Yeah, he did another video that was like, "Hey, look at these 2 response videos about the." So really, he's come out with 3 things
and only
that
made
truly talk about.
It, yeah.
But yeah, even those videos of him apologizing or explaining his racism still makes him money.
Explaining his racism,
right? Because I'm pretty sure that's what those. I didn't actually get to watch them, but I know that. Based on the last controversy he was in, which was a year ago? Wasn't it about a year? I think it was about a year ago.
I'm looking at some Variety article because now we have computers. Like I said, this is Gen 2 Podspill for you. We have computers.
We can just look shit up.
We can just look shit up, and there's a Variety article from.
Yeah, so he said he's disappointed in himself because he's learned nothing from these past controversies. It's not like I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. Yet somehow he can say whatever he wants and get away with it. So
and make a shit ton of money while doing it.
And people are defending him and attacking other people. So Firewatch developer sent a cease and desist to remove all of their videos.
Yes, that is true.
And so Firewatch is taking more flack than whatever you guys call this fella.
PewDiePie.
It looks like PewDiePie.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what he says.
Is that what he does?
He screams
like
his
a Star
name.
Wars name.
Yeah, no, he just screams his name sometimes at the beginning of
his real name is Felix.
Felix, yeah.
I like the name.
You just want to go by Felix?
We'll call him Felix. We're pretty tight. Me and Felix.
I don't know. That's
anyway, so Firewatch has been getting rating bombed on Steam so much that Steam has actually launched a new way to see when someone's been rating bombed. It's a chart to show negative versus positive ratings as a solution. Quotation marks again. But as a solution, so your overall rating is still terrible, and it doesn't stop them from bombing your ratings for being, I believe most of them say, a social justice warrior developer is what they're being called mainly.
Yes.
But you can definitely tell if you take the time out of your day to click on this super cool interactive graph.
Well, I don't know, like, when, like, fighting racism, like, became, like, a social justice. Like, I mean, it's always been, but I don't know why it's, like, gone into, like, this negative category, or, like, why do we have to, like, ratings bomb? Like, why do we have to, like, attack people that are, like, trying to, like, I don't know, fight racism? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I feel like most people commenting that, just, I'm gonna stereotype a large group of people right now.
That's what we do.
Aren't the kind of people who would play Firewatch to start with, since it's a really indie feely kind of game.
Right.
You know, walking around, self-discovery.
What do you think they play instead, Malcolm?
Call of Duty. All the COD.
For sure.
Oh, so much COD. Maybe some Battlefield now, and
I like
PUBG.
Battlefield.
There's obviously some in the 10 million who own PUBG.
They're the same ones.
Few of them now.
They're the same ones having the debate about if Battlefield or Call of Duty rip each other off. Like, they're the ones who just don't actually care. But also, I don't know how PEWDS is. His viewership is, but I'm pretty sure, like, for a while there was, like, a majority of it was kids.
Yeah, I think they're mostly kids.
But then he was like, I'm done trying to pander to everyone. I'm going to do whatever I want. And he said that about 3 years ago, and then he's just been in the spotlight constantly about doing dumb shit. So it's not very surprising that the racism thing comes out, even though it's been coming out for a while now.
Right. In this February, like, Variety article, he says that, this is Felix, I do strongly believe that you can joke about anything, but I also believe that there's a right way and not the best way to joke about things.
He continually, he just chooses the wrong way to joke about things.
Right.
Well, this wasn't even a joke.
Well, this time was not a joke.
The Nazi thing, there's
he's
like...
He's trying to do it, like, as a joke, and then he just says really racist shit all the time. He's like, whoops, that was too far on that joke.
And so do we think that
3 reaction posts later, or apology videos later.
So do we think that, like, I don't know. Like, obviously, like, I think racism is wrong in, like, every instance, but do you think it's, like, this is not, like, trying to justify it, but, like, do we think it's, like, a part of his, like, shtick, his, like, personality, just to be, like, so extreme and, like, wacky? And he's like, oh, look at me, I say really extreme things. Yes. I'm trying to get a reaction.
That's most YouTube now. It's
that's
like
true.
Saying things that's outlandish that are like, that's funny. That's completely satire or not true. But then, like, oh, whoops. Like, people just do it for the laughs, which sometimes you can take that too far. But
I don't know. It's not like he's trying to build a viewer base at this point. I think he's literally just doing this stuff because it's who he is. Like, if he had 1,000, if he had 1,000 followers and then he was trying to get more and get attention, the man has, I think it was 57 million people on YouTube right now.
That's
57 million people subscribe to him. So who is he exactly pandering to at this point?
I mean, I don't think he's pandering to the racist viewers that he has.
No, he said he's done pandering to people. Who was he pandering to? People who aren't racist? Was that
he's just pandering to kids, which sounds weirder, but
so do we think, okay, so I guess maybe more it's like he's drunk with power now. He's just like,
for sure.
I'll say whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't matter. But then he gets called on it and it's like, I don't know.
I guess it matters.
Christ, he's just such a fucking mess. Hang on now. God.
I don't know. Sometimes for me, with this, when controversies kind of come up with, like, individuals, like, he still has done a lot of good for the industry.
That's true.
He's still done a lot of good for people. It's just that I don't think it's as much as I think it's just part of the reason why I think he gets into these things is because he does have so much power.
Yeah.
But also, he's trying to, I guess basically, I don't know. It's just weird. I try not to just think like this is the one thing that defines him, because there's a lot of other things that he tries to do to try and, I don't know, push his channel, to push YouTube in general, to push how it works. But then he just does it in a negative way.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, I don't know. It's like he was there for, like, you know, the setup and, like, the, you know, he essentially, like, made, like, YouTube gaming or, like, Twitch streaming and all that stuff, like, a huge thing. But, like, now he's becoming, like, a very, like, problematic person in this community. Like, and, like, I think, you know, definitely for PewDiePie, like, this side of him was, like, always existed. I mean, for sure, but, like, he's never, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously come out a couple of different times. Like, he just... Where's he from? Because is it
like Sweden?
Sweden, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the culture of Sweden is, and I don't think I can comment on, like, how they, like, understand racism over there, but, like...
Well, how you were talking about before, how it's like, is it, one of you, I think you said, like, is it ingrained in his personality?
Yeah.
I think, like, Milo Yiannopoulos, or whatever his name is, yes, that's a little more ingrained in his personality.
Fair.
Versus, I think he's just trying to make people laugh, and he does. And
he
goes too far, right?
Like, yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, I guess I agree. Maybe with the Nazi stuff, that's a good argument. But literally, this last one is he was too lazy to hide his racism.
His filter,
because that's why I think you don't get to see it with the YouTube one. He actively chose to put that stuff on there, so that kind of dampens that
for sure.
But the Twitch, he got caught. It wasn't like it was never once. He's never even tried to say this, but it's not like he was like, "Oh, it's my first time ever throwing out the window." No, like like we talked about right before this. You don't usually slip up and say something you never say.
That's true.
And this is exactly what he said. I'm not going to say the word, but he said, so while streaming the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the YouTube star called another player a fucking insert word
beep
before immediately saying, "I don't mean that in a bad way," and calling the player an asshole.
I like how he corrected that.
I don't mean that in
a bad way, but you're still an asshole.
There's only ever like the bad way to fucking like if Jesus Christ, I don't know. Like he just backtracked, like he knew it was like bad, but like he just.
I mean, he's a celebrity. Any celebrity knows you're not supposed to say that stuff,
right?
And he messed up. Oh, this reminds me of a quote that my dad used to tell me, which is, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." My pappy would tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Was your pappy?
I know the quote. I should.
Was he Batman? Is that from Batman?
It's from Dark Knight,
wasn't it?
No,
Was it
Two-Face?
Harvey
Dent,
Two-Face.
guys.
You're right.
Literally, his defining moment.
Sorry.
Your dad is Harvey. See, I wouldn't have picked Harvey.
It was
going to
be funny because it was like I was co-opting and making my dad sound intelligent, but then you guys just think he's too dumb to say these things. You hear that, Dad? Hear that? I'm assuming he'll listen and support me.
I think he's too proud to admit that he shouldn't be saying those things.
I think this is a good segue into another topic because I'm tired of talking about racism.
Well, I got one more thing on the racism.
Okay, actually,
good.
Sorry. Let's final.
You know how
not in a bad way.
But like we've all played online video games, I assume.
Yes.
There's some weird shit that people say, and racist comments and those kind of things are just like it's not backhanded, but like. Because you have this anonymous ability to say kind of whatever you want and then leave within 10 minutes of the match being done, you can get away with saying those things. There's no consequences.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want and be totally fine and maybe get reported a couple times and just get a new Xbox account.
Right.
And that's about all you get. Which means, I mean, it's not condoning racism, but definitely isn't helping stop it.
Exactly.
So when he messes up, it can show kind of how he plays private games.
Yeah.
Sure. But it can also show a bigger picture of kind of where we are at an industry level, or not an industry level because the industry's more misogynistic than racist.
And
but
like, even the industry, I think, is like a bigger reflection of like society as a whole. And actually, that's an even better segue than I had. And this is really just more. So we're going to continue a discussion of Rick and Morty. But more so, we're going to talk about Dan Harmon, and we're going to talk about Rick and Morty fans, which I've indicted several times for being big pieces of shit. And so the AV Club published an article. It's probably also published on a lot of other different sites. But Dan Harmon is pissed off at fans for being, I have here, fucking trash. They,
Shout out.
Shout out. So basically, so Dan Harmon is mad at his fans because, like, they are continually harassing the women writers on Rick and Morty. Like, they are, like, doxing them and, like...
I heard they're, like, were they emailing and, like, saying stupid things all the time?
Yes, and they're, like, publishing, like, people's addresses.
Oh, God.
Hang on, I'm doing the article right now.
I hope we never get swatted.
Oh, my God. Would that be terrible?
Just by saying that, we're probably going to get swatted one day.
Why are we going to get swatted?
I don't know.
I don't want to get that.
Have you seen those videos?
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Y'all suck.
So this is the AV Club article. And this is what... this is Dan Harmon talking to Entertainment Weekly. He's saying that he's pretty pissed off. Quote, I was familiar going into the third season having talked to Felicia Day that any high-profile women get doxxed, they get harassed, they get threatened, they get slandered. And part of it is a testosterone-based subculture patting themselves on the back for trolling these women because to the extent that you can go get a girl to shriek about a frog, you've proven girls are girly, and there's no crime in assaulting her with a frog because it's all in the name of proving something. I think it's all disgusting. There's a longer quote, and I think I'm going to go ahead and add this too. He then went on to discuss how much it frustrates him to know that people like this watch his show. These knobs that want to protect the content they think they own and somehow combine that with their need to be proud of something they have, which is often only their race or gender. It's offensive to me as someone who was born both male and white and still works way harder than them, that there's some white male fan out there trying to further some creepy agenda by protecting, in quotations, my work. I have made no bones about the fact that I loathe these people. It fucking sucks. And the only thing I can say is if you're lucky enough to make a show that's really good, that people like, that means some bad people are going to like it too. You can't just insist that everybody who watches your show get their head on straight. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't want the show to have a political stance. But at the same time, individually, these harassers aren't politicians and don't represent politics. They represent some shit that I probably believed when I was 15. I think that this is just like...
amazing.
I mean, yeah. I fucking love Dan Harmon because of this. And if you're looking for a podcast plug, listen to this one. But also listen to Dan Harmon's podcast, Harmontown. That comes out on Saturdays. You should go and listen to that because he is fantastic. But so, bringing it back. I think Dan raises some pretty good points, and I've kind of thought about this a lot, like myself. Like I remember being in high school and like liking certain movies because like I could see myself like as those characters, but then someone that like I would not like in high school or whatever, like just some like dickhead or whatever, would also like that movie, and I'm like, they're completely different people. And I don't understand, like not that, like, they can't enjoy art, but, like...
It's weird to enjoy something that someone else you hate enjoys.
Yes, because it's like, do we even see the world in, like, the same way?
Like, how do you watch it versus how do I watch it?
Exactly. Yeah, like, how do we... I don't know.
Well,
go ahead.
Like, on how people experience things, like, everyone who sees, like, these references, like The Shining. I recently just now watched The Shining. Like, it took me 22 years of my life to finally get there.
Okay.
Granted, about, like, what? I've only been able to understand those types of movies for the last 8. So I've only had 8 years to get through it. But, you know, you've seen Shining references in, like, Family Guy and South Park.
Absolutely.
And, like, literally everywhere. So I know kind of the scenes that happen, and I kind of get... And so when I finally see them, you know, I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool.
It's part of American culture.
But when I experience those Family Guy episodes, I don't get those references. I just experience, you know, that show. So, like, I feel like there's probably barriers for like how people experience things, and a lot of that's based on either their intelligence or just their drive to actually know shit.
Sure.
I don't know artist lyrics. I don't know names of artists, but I will enjoy the music.
Sure.
So I mean, they could just be casual viewers, but then they just don't they think that because they view it, it's kind of theirs.
Yeah.
And I think that people who have those questions about, like, wow, that Johnny fucking likes Rick and Morty, and Johnny's a piece of shit, but, like, I also love Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Am I a piece of shit? But, like, no, because you don't say those dumb things that Johnny does, or you don't come up with those ridiculous racist slip-ups like other people. Like, you know, it's I think it's all based on experiences and the people, but also I don't think we can say, like, well, I don't think Johnny should be able to experience that, because Dan's right, he made something amazing, and with coming with that territory, it's, you know, there's going to be some shit people that like it too. So I mean, how they experience it's probably way different from how we experience it, and how they experience it is through emails to the writing staff, specifically to the women.
Right. Jesus. Well, and, like, you know, there's this meme that's been going around. Well, it was an actual comment, I guess, posted in Reddit about how Rick and Morty fans are like superior people and stuff like that, and like they just like understand the show at like a very deep level, and like Dan Harmon is writing about like Russian philosophy or something like that when he's writing Rick and Morty, and people have like taken that and they posted it as a meme just to show how fucking terrible parts of this community can be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been all over, like, I don't know, the Rick and Morty Facebook, Adult Swim Facebook, stuff like that, and it's just... when I first saw it, I was like, is this real? Like, is this a joke? No, this was, like, an actual comment. I don't have it in front of me, but it was just... If you ever go on those threads, you'll see it, but... You know, I think... I don't know. It's, do, like, the fans, like, reflect society or whatever? Like, is this, like, you know, I mean... I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say, but, like, it's...
I don't know. I think every single media, something that you consume and that has a fan base and that has, like you identify as liking this thing is just a microcosm for, like, the current political climate.
Sure.
Or the current societal construct. There's the people who are super popular within the group. There are the people who are just joining, who have no idea what's going on. Right. There's the medium people who kind of know, but then they're kind of shitty people, or they're the good people. And I don't know, like, we're just starting out this podcast. Like, we are, I guess, the lower class of the podcast, you know.
We're that bottom tier.
Community, right? But as more we push out, the more content we come up with, the more we refine, the more people care about, and then the more celebrity, I guess, we grab. I don't know, but that's the same way with admins for Rick and Morty chat rooms and stuff like that. Like, the more you know about something, the more people, I guess, respond to your opinion. So when you come up with all these theories about why you think you're better than other people because you're a Rick and Morty fan, and your link is, because I read the philosophy of Dan Harmon, which sounds like the following, like...
It honestly...
Like, you should write a book.
Yeah, he should. But, I don't know.
He's written a book, I can't remember.
Out of, like, the two of them, or, like...
What?
Who's written... What?
I think Dan Harmon's written a book.
I think he should write the Harmon philosophy.
Harmon philosophy manual.
He should start...
The Church of Harmon. He has Harmontown already.
The Church of Harmon.
We just need to rename it and get some bells.
Oh, my God. The official Rick and Morty religion. The Church of Harmon. God. The one in true Harmon.
I'm not a very religious person, but I would follow Dan Harmon.
I have joined a cult before. It was the Cult of Peak from Funhouse.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
I'm a peaker, I guess.
Do you know Malcolm?
No peak?
No.
Funhouse?
No, please don't murder me for not being in this cult.
That's okay. It's on YouTube. They're pretty good. That's another plug, by the way, people. We're plugging all the things we like.
Which means you need to plug us back.
We did talk about them last time. And other things we did talk about with Rick and Morty specifically were comeback characters.
Oh, yes.
Now, Malcolm's not caught up, but Mr. Poopy Butthole came back.
Oh, thank God.
In a small memory, Mr. Poopy Butthole was proposing to Morty.
Yes, that's true.
Really fucking weird, yes.
It was really weird.
Really weird. The whole episode was amazing, though. I thought that was really... But the one everyone's talking about is the Atlantis one. The one where they basically just do a House of Cards, conspiracy, Training Day, montage.
Oh my god!
It
was crazy.
It definitely, to me, everyone's saying it's the best episode they've seen this season.
I think
the finale is going to be the best episode this season.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the best episodes ever made.
So
far.
I agree.
I honestly, and they did a whole video about and they start with, when we wrote this, it wasn't during the election stuff. It wasn't, it wasn't this, and they made that clear, and I was like, that's cool. But and then they talked about they try to not be political and stuff. So yes. I think they actually they just want to comment on society and stuff. Yeah. They want to comment on how things work and just the culture and all that stuff, because they talked about you can just feel in today's age and what they mirrored it with the episode, that political climate where everything you say and everything you do has some sort of politically charged idea not idea, some politically charged motivation.
Sure.
That someone else perceives it as, even if it's not that. So I don't know. The whole episode was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I didn't understand exactly what was happening until it finally got to the end.
At the end, and they tied it up. And I have been listening to the Evil Morty theme song at home when I'm doing random things, just mowing the lawn or watering. It's just just really sad. Sad.
Oh yes.
I don't think he says. I think he's just singing it to himself the whole time.
That's true.
Is Mercedes worried about you?
It's actually just crying. I'm just wailing downstairs while I water the plants.
Wow. Are you okay? Are you
yeah. Right? No, I'm fine.
Good.
This is the second episode in a row that we've alluded to your deep-seated depression issues, though. By I think last time we said you have deep-seated depression issues is how we segued into it.
Oh boy!
Well, we'll crack those in another podcast.
Oh, the facade!
And oh my god!
How do you pray to Dan Harmon about these?
No, I thought you were gonna just pray in general.
So looking at IMDb, so the episode that we've been talking about is the Atlantis mix-up, which is the sword and coin at the House of Cards style episode.
Training game montage
essentially is what it is. And then the next one was Morty's Mind Blowers, which essentially, as Rick said in the episode, is what we're going to be doing instead of interdimensional cable.
Television. Yeah.
Thank God.
Those are my favorite episodes.
Really? I can't stand them.
They're just so many, I don't know. It just seems like they include those episodes because Dan and Justin have so many ideas, and they're just I don't think there's any way we can do this in a plot. Let's just throw all of our stuff together and just have some sort of context for why this is in here to begin with.
I'm still waiting on the Cthulhu monster episode.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I know it's just always. I guess half that stuff's there to throw you off. Is what's been explained.
Yeah.
And half is actually from the season. But I love Cthulhu.
I don't think
me and Kuth.
I think there's just There's just so much stuff that there's just so much content. I feel like this show can go on forever. Whatever. Like Rick says in
8 more seasons.
1. Right. Yeah.
8 more seasons.
Yeah.
That was episode crazy. 1. But yeah.
There was this thing. I don't know what I was watching. One, the Terry Fold. Have you heard the Terry Fold dance song?
I don't believe so.
Touch My Terry Folds. Oh Jesus!
Oh Jesus!
It was this small little thing that happened within the last couple episodes, or one of the last few episodes, and it was just this song. He's like, "Touch my terry folds," and he just keeps saying that over and over again, and it's just this weird, sensual thing about touching someone's terry flaps and holds and suck 'em, you little bitch. It's really weird, but it's a weird, fun little song that Justin came up with. Right. And I was like, who comes up with this shit?
I think I remember this.
How do you get in the mindset of I'm making a 2.5 minute song about just messing with terry hold flaps? How do you do that? Time out.
So the next episode is the ABCs of Beth. The episode description says
Can they just kill Beth? I'm sorry. Continue. Keep going.
Sorry.
That sounds something that Beth would say because she doesn't really have attachments or emotion. So just saying
just whine is her only. So the episode description, as I was saying, I'm giving Malcolm a glare. Rick brings Beth to a world he created for her when she was younger.
Oh.
Huh.
That can't backfire.
That sounds like that's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I think at some point it was like, some people give you love, I give you a fucking world or something, and you complain about it. I think that was like part of the trailer, I think. Imagine getting a whole world as a gift.
Right.
I mean, Chris Pratt got a whole world as a gift from Ego.
Oh, yeah. Good.
And then he tried to murder him.
Good guardian. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I hated that movie.
Really?
But I hated it.
All right, well, let's talk about this for a second.
You liked it?
I liked it.
You both liked number 2?
I really liked it.
I don't know.
All right, so what are your problems with this? We gotta
throw
hash
them
this
out
out.
there.
This is gonna be a whole
One
other...
scene that sticks with me so much that just pisses me off is Gamora. Just walking, having a nice Sunday stroll, looking at the flowers, and then a fucking ship comes in and Nebula tries to kill her ass out of the blue.
Yeah.
The transition to that scene was like nothing.
What do you mean out of the blue? They show Nebula get in the ship and fly towards the planet.
It was just a
weird
switch.
Hey, real quick, right here.
Did
you just want did you want a 20-minute scene of Nebula entering orbit?
Where she is, the whole thing, and they were talking about other things.
I'm sorry, that's the issue. They track the
That was the one thing that I'm like for sure.
They track them across the galaxy, literally across the entire galaxy. But she found someone on a planet with 6 living organisms, and that was your issue.
Okay, what I thought...
There's 6 things living on that planet.
This is what the first one established. A huge galaxy that had these weird fucking factions that were fighting over people with, like, shit you didn't know about. And it was really interesting, like, space lore that most people who don't know about Guardians, because I didn't really know anything about Guardians that came out, because they were like, fuck it, it's quirky, it might work. There's a raccoon and a small tree.
Trash man.
But, like... They created this world that was so interesting, like that. What was what was the alliance or whatever that made
Nova
like that?
Corps?
Yeah, the ship
the
wall
Corps.
or whatever.
Yeah,
they are like just an interesting galactic government that I just think kind of sets like, wow, this universe is pretty big. It's not just Captain America and Thor in New York doing their thing. It's like there's all these other factors. There's all these other alien species and all these planets that like no one in the Marvel universe knows about. But then in the second one, like, well, we're going to take this huge thing and then we're not going to give a fuck about it and then just focus on the characters. And I feel like Rocket was just pissy for not really any good reason because he was an asshole to start with, but then like he realized he was an asshole, so he was more of an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he's embracing it.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I can be a dick sometimes, and I embrace that. But then I don't be like, well, if I can be a dick, I should really just be a dick. I'm like, I should probably cut that back more, so like I'm not as abrasive, and like people shouldn't like.
Okay, but you don't think there's people out there who
are like,
say,
well,
I'm a dick, so I'm gonna keep being a dick.
But I don't think that's.
There's literally professors that walk in.
Right, but that's not how his character was given to us in the first one. It was this quirky rat who was just basically the Han Solo of the group.
He was an asshole in the first one too.
Right, but he wasn't.
You're complaining about them not continuing to build.
He wasn't doing it on purpose.
Okay,
and then they were like, "How predictable was Star-Lord's that everything he did throughout that whole thing, throughout the whole second movie?"
So you're saying just like every Marvel movie, it followed a formula.
Yes,
literally every Marvel.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what made Guardians of the Galaxy different, is because it didn't follow the formula.
Fair. I think that's fair.
Okay, but at the same time, like, they can't just keep world building and never do anything with it. All this is building towards the Avengers. So, I mean, they can keep building up the Guardians, but if we don't know anything about them, why is it going to matter when they show up to the Avengers and someone gets killed?
I just thought they did a better job at showing the characters in the first one, and then they were like, well, let's talk about their complexities. And then they tried to give complexities to the characters in the second one, and it just wasn't really that complex. Gamora's afraid of loving because she's never loved before. Chris never met his dad, so when he meets his dad, of course he's going to want to be with his dad, but then his dad killed his mom. Shocker. Like, of course he gets pissed off and he does all his stuff. Like, it was just very...
The reason that these aren't shockers is because they're literally the things from the comics that have been used.
Right, but I've never seen the comics and I don't know
what's happening. Comics are always the same. Like, in the end of it, there's like a dozen actual true news story arcs in Marvel Comics, and the rest mirror each other.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the first first movie
they couldn't have done it though, because the issue was they did it the first time, and the whole reason Guardians 1 was so big was because everyone's like, "Oh, we've never seen anything like this before."
Right.
And then you can't not see anything like Guardians of the Galaxy 1
but
before,
what was
because you've seen it.
What was your favorite part of the second movie? What was like your kind of favorite character or arc or whatever? Like, what was like? Oh, this is for me. It was Yondu. Yondu was like the savior of that movie to me.
Dope.
It was crazy to see him go from like this dude who was going to eat a human kid to actually caring about him and showing that he was one of the original members and all this stuff, which most normal people don't.
So you're saying it paid off for them to stop focusing on the big picture and focus in on character development?
I'm
with
saying
Yondu?
If they would have focused on Yondu a little more, you probably would have got more history and more interesting facts about the other Guardians and just kind of how they're a team and how the other team used to be. And I don't know, this one was just let's talk about love and personal identities. But then totally take that away at the end, because in the grand scheme of things, if they didn't do that, what changes about the characters? If that whole movie didn't happen, what actually changes about Guardians of the Galaxy?
It solidified them as a team.
That's it.
That's kind of a big deal.
But before they were already a TM.
No, not really. They were a bunch of guys together. It was shown in the movie itself that they weren't a team. That was the whole point. You can't say they were already a team. If you take out this movie,
they all grabbed hands. Were like, we're doing this.
Soren, they fought one fight.
Yes, and then the next fight they were all.
So you're saying you would have been perfectly fine with them just being like, you're all really different. You don't know each other, but now you all get along perfectly. You're a perfect family.
It seems kind of that's how they put it in the first episode.
All right, now I have things to add.
They literally did that scene where they all stood up in the middle and put their hands in the middle of the first movie and were like, "Let's do this. We are
one
TM."
That's the same thing with the Avengers. If by that logic they should have stopped with the Avengers because they already built their team. But then you know what happens after they build their teams?
They live together and they
fight
get
each other.
Yes.
They try to murder each other.
So they did the Marvel formula for the second one.
Anyways, so I have things to add. So I think that this movie needed to happen. I think they needed to be solidified as a team. But listen, there's only about 3 months between the end of Guardians 1 and the beginning of Guardians 2. So there's not like they've had hundreds of adventures in that time frame. So I think they did need to be more solidified, but also there were these things that were going on with each of them. Rocket, not so much. He was, I don't know. I don't really remember his storyline that much in Guardians 2.
He says why he's mad, but for the life of me, I can't remember.
I think it's just because he's been experimented on, and he's just I'm garbage.
The same thing he was pissed off about.
Right. And so, but then we have things so Drax's storyline, which was I think a little bit better. I think him and Mantis, which I love Mantis. I think that those two characters, I think they kind of need each other. They're a good foil to each other.
They're the opposite spectrum of emotion.
Exactly. So I think one that kind of gets resolved, and then obviously Peter still has things going on with his family, and this whole trying to find his father deal. That needed to happen. Gamora, like you said, she can't love, has never felt love, and now she's Star-Lord.
I love my sister.
Right. Well, that's true. She loves her sister,
but not Star-Lord yet.
Not quite. It's being teased, but I think this needed to happen, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put a cool theory thing. I think it's cool. All right, let's talk about the music stuff or whatever. So Guardians 1, you have Peter Quill, he's given that tape by his mom or whatever, that's his those that music and those songs are they're so ingrained in his identity. And the second one, he's he finds this new tape, so it's now he can kind of venture out more, and I think it's more symbolic, that new tape, he's still he still has these attachments to his parents and his homeworld and stuff.
But now that they're all dead, he's good to go.
Right. Well, in so many words, and so I think Awesome Mix Volume 2 does that get destroyed too?
I believe so. Yes.
I think it does. Okay, and then you have at the very end. I can't remember if this was a post-credit sequence or the very end of the movie, but you have James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn or whatever, gives him that Zune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, good plug for Zune. Like, I don't even know
I thought
how
that was pretty
happened.
dope. But I think that, like, symbolically, like, represents, like, Peter finding his own identity somewhat. Like, because now he's, like, accepted, like, this music or whatever from, like, I guess Sean Gunn is, like, an alien, or maybe he's, like, more of, like, I don't know what
he's there.
He's there. He's a Ravager. And so now he's, like, kind of accepted, like, his own identity as Star-Lord in this, like, larger group as Guardian. So I think, I will say that it was not a perfect film.
Yep.
And it was maybe not as great as the first one. Of course, what sequel is. Right. But I feel like it was a necessary thing because there were, like, a lot of loose ends in terms of, like, these complex relationships, like Gamora and Nebula, and then Drax and, well, now Mantis, I guess, and then Star-Lord and everyone, his parents. It was tough. But I think that this needed to happen. And I'm not sure if it was executed as nicely as I would have liked, and it has flaws, but like I said, I think it needed to happen. And I really enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Honestly, I think they're about to start killing people off in the Avengers movies. And they wanted to solidify that they actually cared about each other.
Okay.
They're about to end Phase 3, and at the end of Phase 3, most of these people's contracts are up.
Yeah.
And they've already set it up for the ones after. They already said that they expect a lot of them to leave.
Now, what is the next Marvel film?
Infinity War 1.
Is it?
What is it?
Black Panther and Infinity War 1.
Is that how it's...
But I don't know if Black Panther's really contained in the larger storyline of the rest of it. I think he's kind of...
They're going to do another origin.
They just wanted to establish him since he's going to be in it.
Because he's a pretty big leader for one of the sides of the Avengers, right? With, like, Stark's Avengers and then the secret...
he's just a big hero in general.
Or Hydra.
So that whole civilization is basically the counter to Hydra and all their technology. They're like the most advanced nation in the world. And
Black Panther?
The nation he leads? Yeah, they present themselves as kind of like a normal, like, stereotypical war-torn African country. And
Wakanda.
Then, Wakanda. That's where they end at the last movie with, like, the vibranium cities. Is that a
lot like Nambia? Nambia is that fake African country that Donald Trump quoted recently at his UN.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what it is.
It's like Nambia.
Okay, so it looks like, in terms of, like, Marvel movies, we have Thor, Ragnarok.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
I completely forgot about it, too. I don't know why, because I'm very excited for it. I think that looks like it's going to be the best Thor film. I have not been impressed.
Well, okay, don't get the bar so low.
I think that's going to be the best Hulk film.
Once again, pretty low bar on both of them.
True. I don't know.
True, very low bar.
I really wished Edward Norton would have stuck with it.
I don't.
You really like him?
He's eh.
I like Edward
actor.
Norton. I think he does best in, like... I think he was not suited for that role, but I think he does best in, like... I like him in Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good in Birdman with Michael Keaton. I think he does best when he does weird, and I think sometimes he's been, like, trying to...
Yeah.
He's trying to act like a really, like, serious philosophical Bruce Banner, and I didn't like that. I like Mark Ruffalo. I just love him though. He's
Mark Ruffalo.
So goofy.
I don't know. I'm Thor Ragnarok looks crazy.
When that come out, like 2011?
This goes back to creating that sense of it's a lot bigger than just the Avengers kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thor Ragnarok's going to show, like, there's a lot more shit out there, even more that we didn't know about.
You know who's in this? Jeff
Goldblum.
I love Jeff.
He's
Goldblum.
the weirdest human being I've ever seen.
Up. What?
Jeff's
in what?
He's in Thor.
No way.
How do you not know this? He's like the center of every single commercial. He was in the end credits for Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy too, because he's the same thing as Ego was, the higher beings. What are they called?
Celestials.
Yeah, he's one of the remnants.
Really?
So the Collector, Ego, his thing is like showmanship. That's why everything's shooting rainbows and stuff.
Okay.
That and because they really want to hit the 80s. Just wanted to really just nail the 80s down there.
Good.
You guys want to set Thor in the 80s? Yeah, how are we going to do that? Let's just send him to a different planet.
But I think that this iteration of Thor and the Hulk is going to work so well. So they have a director. His name is Taika Waititi, and he has done amazing movies. He did this film. It was called What We Do in the Shadows.
I've seen that. With the vampire documentary?
Yes.
Yes, it's so funny.
Soren, you need to get on this, because it is amazing. It's a vampire documentary, but it's like a comedy.
They're all roommates.
Perfect segue, that's fine though.
It is maybe the funniest thing.
Yeah, so it's this guy, they're filming one of them, and he's roommates with like 3 others and this ancient vampire that turned them all. And it's just...
They're roommates?
Yeah,
they're roommates. They all live together.
They live in a house like this.
Oh my god.
And, like, it's just... They kind of, like... They're, like, pseudo-friends. Like, they, like, just live with each other, like, out of necessity or whatever it seems like. And, so the very first scene is them having, like, a house meeting. Like, because they need to, like, discuss things. And the camera crew is just sitting there, like, they've been, like... There's, like, title cards that say... We've been offered protection, so like they're not gonna like kill us or whatever.
Return us, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just like filming like this house meeting, and they're like, it's just stupid little jokes. But he was like, one of them's like, and you need to go and clean the bloody dishes, and like the camera just like, like they're English, so like bloody, they say that all the time, and then the camera pans, and it shows like the sink full of like actually like bloody dishes because like they're vampires, and it's shit like that, and like then they get in fights. It's like in movies like The Underworld, where like they're fighting with guns, like it's crazy, and they just know like martial arts naturally, I guess. This is like their cats like hissing at each other, and they're just like slapping. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Taika Waititi, I put all my faith in him. I think this is gonna be a great film.
I think. Oh, you're talking about Thor?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
On the Thor subject, and then we'll talk about mockumentaries.
Perfect. Ooh.
Have you noticed that, like, from the beginning of Thor, it was the origin story for the first movie, and then the second one got dark as shit because they were like, it says Dark World in the title, so here we go. And then this last one's just like super fun.
Yeah,
that's because they were bombing, I think, and they realized we need to let Chris Hemsworth be Chris Hemsworth.
Okay,
he's just the goofy guy. I think they literally realized like nothing's working.
Yep,
people don't take him serious because I mean, when he's not doing Thor, he's not doing anything like Thor. True. It seems.
Yeah.
Like none of his big movies, he's just like funny.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all his big movies. He's doing like comedy. Yeah. And I think I think Guardians is the reason why, because Thor was bombing at the exact same time Guardians came out, and Guardians was supposed to be their silly one, and then they realized, people actually like the silly. Remember how nervous everyone was? They're like, Guardians is gonna be stupid. No one knows Guardians. It just looks like they're trying to make a bunch of jokes, and then it outsold everything. Same thing with Ant-Man. Was kind of like. They didn't go all the way in, so they kind of hamstrung Paul Rudd. They should have done what they do with Hulk, where he's not his own movie; he just shows up.
Well, I think they chose the wrong director or whatever. So, like, initially they had Edgar Wright, the guy that did Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, those films, which I love. He also did Baby Driver, and I think they should have just let Edgar do his deal.
They were right there. They were so close to a good movie. And I still really like it. I like it better because I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah. I like Paul Rudd.
And he made up for it. But they should have, I think, honestly, they should have done what they finally figured out with the Hulk is you can't write a story around a dude who turns small. Like, the Hulk couldn't have his own self-contained story for a movie because in reality you're just sitting there the whole time like,
the whole toy scene. The train scene.
Oh, that was super funny, though.
It was awesome and funny, but it was like, they had to pull from, like, all right, this is what we got.
This is what we got.
What's our budget? $12? I got, my son's got Thomas the Train. I think we can automate it.
Oh, I just saw, 1,000 Thomas the Train engines versus, 100 Jedi.
In that epic battle simulator?
Mm-hmm. I was like, God,
who spends money on those things?
I don't know. Who makes the cool. Thomas the Train engine mod for that? Like, that's.
I mean, if you just spent $60 on it, I would too, but.
Okay, so. Yes. Thor, different stuff. Back to your mockumentary thing.
Yes.
American Vandal came out Friday.
Oh, is that the Netflix thing?
Yes. Yeah. I watched it all. 8 episodes, 25 minutes. And basically, they make a dick joke run for 5 hours. And in a high school setting. So imagine at your high school, someone goes to the teacher's parking lot and they spray 27 dicks on everyone's car. 27 dicks on all the teacher's parking lots. Actual vandalizing.
You need to get in this headspace.
Yeah, it sounds like semen.
And so that's a good one. Semen high school, not Yeah.
That didn't clarify at all. Let's just cut this whole...
No, this is good.
No, it's the funny part. We'll cut the part where we say
There's a high school in Topeka, Kansas, literally called Seaman High School, but it's spelled different, so it's okay. We don't make fun of it at all.
Wait, it's spelled different?
Yeah, like a C man, like a man on the C.
It's not like a jack.
It was like a KKK member's name.
That's true.
The founder was allegedly a member of the KKK.
Allegedly.
Shout out.
That's what they always put allegedly when someone says it at the school.
Oh,
they're like, allegedly. Oh, okay, well that really sounds
like, let's go get some proof. There's got to be proof somewhere. So surely they took records of that.
That's true.
Yearbooks of the KKK members,
or Jews. I'm sure they can like find records.
I was voted most racist.
Oh my god! Everybody's just in there with white hoods on. You can't tell who anyone is. So, like, really, it lends to having the name list because you don't.
That's my favorite thing about those memes are like millennials are killing everything. Oh. And it's like, yeah, but your generation like put those white pointy hats on and called it cool.
But we killed B-dubs and they really like
they're like, God damn it, Applebee's and the malls are closing. But the best thing about American Vandal is that it's all like making a murder.
Yeah.
And it's that same documentary style, and they start with like. Picture someone who would draw 27 dicks on the teacher's cars at your high school.
Got him.
Who would it be, right? Yes. Everyone has that person, but the whole thing is he actually didn't do it.
Right.
And so, like, it's this 8-part documentary series about how this guy didn't draw dicks, and they do theories, and they talk about this one kid lying to the student body because the teachers were trying to get the kid expelled, and then he started lying about getting a hand job from this really hot chick in the high school, and like one of the guys gets fired because on the documentary he says that some of the high school girls are hot. And like it's fucking brilliant. It's crazy. I've never like sat down and just was like, this is one of the funnier things I've seen in a long time.
God, that sounds amazing.
It was definitely.
I remember seeing the trailer for it, and it really presents itself as being something very
serious real. And the whole time they're just making dick jokes. Yeah. And like the main reason why they know it's not this kid is one of the theories they start out with. Is that one dick, or the dicks that he draws and the dicks on the cars are different because the dicks he draws have ball hairs. So literally they're like, but the one difference, if you notice, on the two dicks on the side by side are the ball hairs on one, and there's no ball hairs on the other. And they treat it like this huge, like, oh, we found a murder weapon kind of deal, but it's just ball hairs. It's so funny. That's like definitely a series you gotta just binge through.
Go. So far, we have American Vandal that I need to watch, and you need to watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got some research.
Yeah, some things to do. If y'all listening, you need to go and do those too. Listen and watch. All right. So we have other things. Do we want to segue to?
Let's talk about PUBG.
Okay.
Back to
John played PUBG, everyone.
He did it.
He did it.
Oh shit!
I played like 6 matches.
Oh, okay.
I did all right.
Did you get a kill?
I got a couple kills.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. But I'm very scared the whole time.
Yes.
I am frightened.
In the video I made, I was like, this game's nothing but fear and running.
That's all it is.
You're just constantly scared and you run.
Well,
I just shoot.
I've moved to going to... Have you ever been on a motorcycle in that game? Holy shit, that's my goal.
I have over 110 hours on this game already, so...
I think I don't.
And that's with like the last 2 weeks I haven't played at
30
all.
Let
me open Steam and let me see how much time I have. But I was telling Malcolm before we started. So I played about 6 matches, which, not a lot. But there was this one time, this moment I was proud of. Not really. So I parachute in to this map. I don't really understand it yet. Parachute in. I parachute in, and I go to a place that is wrong. There's no pickups or anything.
Yep.
I have what you would say is nothing.
I have machete.
No, he doesn't have a machete.
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
Literally, he's right in the middle of the woods, apparently.
All right.
Kind of. And then there's like this pond. And I'm like, well, I will swim through this pond. And I was like, man, I hope it's not one of those games where like you die if you go in water. So here we go. And I'm like, so I dove in and I started swimming. And this takes like 3 minutes because I'm so slow.
Yeah.
I get to the other side. I can clearly see people running and darting. There's like houses across. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
This is going to be bad. So I go there. I'm sneaking. This other guy doesn't see me. I'm like, he has guns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sneaking and I go into this house.
Please, sir, can I have a gun?
Right. There's nothing in this house. There's like maybe like, I don't know, some sort of like duster jacket I put on. I'm like,
which are the coolest fashion
that's
accessories
true.
in that game.
I put that on. Another guy breaks in. He has a huge wrench. I'm like, oh no, I still have nothing to defend myself. Cue 5 minutes of us punching each other, and he's like hitting me with a wrench. It's like 5 minutes. I kill him, and I win. And he has a wrench. And
he doesn't win everything, just this fight.
No, and then I died, and then I stepped down and I got sniped. And
that's Finn.
Oh my god.
But that was a glorious moment, because I just really... he hit me like twice. He just couldn't like...
Dude, yes, it's hard to melee combat. I can't punch people for some reason.
It's so hard.
I do it first person. Do you play first or third?
Third.
Third.
I got the controller a lot lot
Okay, can you actually do things in the menu now?
Yes. I can like drop shit and
add
things.
So do you go into your menu or do you just pick things up? Like without
I didn't know how to do the menu, and then I looked it up on my phone because I was about to die. And
need to equip.
Help! And then I was like,
gotta get that wrench.
I had all kinds of cool weapons one time. I had like the saw, I had like some sort of shotgun, I had like all these other cool things. And I was doing okay.
He's running around with a saw and unable to do anything with it. This is
like,
very upsetting.
I don't know.
I picked up.
I have a big gun.
I think the highest I got in those 6 games, I was like top 20.
That's good.
I did all right. I was like, oh, I survived, but I wasn't really killing anything. I was just like hiding and like.
That's okay. We'll have to squad up sometime.
What's your top?
It's 2.
You got second?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was the one I won 1 and 3rd, but I've only gone to 2nd and first person. And the second, I jumped over a little wall to med because I thought the last guy was out there. No, he had already been killed. The last guy was behind this wall, and I like lay down, and I get shot right in the butt, right in the poopy butthole with the shotgun.
I just finally got the machine gun from the drop, first time ever. And
I've been playing drops hard lately. I don't know why, but I never had one. I've gone like the last 6 games I played, I picked up a drop in each one.
Yeah.
I was going to say, only playing 6 games, I still don't really know what's going on.
I picked up the gun, got back in my buggy, started driving for maybe like, I don't know, a couple feet, and then just got sniped in the head and died. And so I've never got to use the machine gun besides in the waiting area.
I got 4 kills with it in one game.
Nice.
It was super cool. I just sat inside a house with it, right outside the drop.
That's the max I've ever gotten in the game.
And I was just shooting them as they ran.
Yeah.
And then someone was trying to snipe me. I'm like, I have 150 bullets, sir. You're losing this one.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that if someone's standing up and if you're squatting, you're gonna die. Because I don't know why. Like I feel like the head. When you're squatting and you're like coming into a room. Because there are times where I'm like waiting for people and I'm squatting and like I know they're there and I'm waiting at the door and they come in and they fire once and it's just right in the head. I've noticed it's only when I'm squatting.
Well, yeah, when you crouch, your head is lined up
right
with like
with the crosshair. I know. Yeah. So
it's weird how your body works
happen
like that.
But that's one thing that makes me sad.
What do you typically play this on? So just computer? Do you think you'll play it like on?
If it comes out on PS4, I'll play on PS4.
Is it coming out on PS4?
Maybe.
So basically, it's a time exclusive on Xbox,
Okay.
my understanding. But they're trying to pretend like it's not. I think. I think the reason Fortnite is going to be successful now, just a little segue into PUBG versus Fortnite, is because PUBG is a bunch of dummies and brought a bunch of attention to there's a ripoff of them in Fortnite that's free to play on consoles. And 2, for some reason, there's only one Battle Royale game on consoles, and it is the one that PUBG just called out. No one would have cared.
Was
Fortnite's
that one free
average.
to play before the controversy?
Fortnite? Yeah, so it was pay to play early.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to play early, you could. Otherwise, you can wait for it to be free to play. I'm pretty sure it's free to play on consoles now, though.
I wonder if like part of the reason why they made that decision was because they got more attention, and they were like, "Hey, well, if they're gonna shit on us, let's just make it free to play."
No, it's been free to play since they announced it.
Okay.
The Battle Royale is a new addition to it. I'm assuming because PUBG sold 10 million copies?
Definitely like how they do the looting system a little more. Have you seen that? Where it's just, when the person dies, all their stuff just comes up. It's not just in a little box.
I played, like, last weekend for a little bit.
Well, no, the box is good. If you're not looting on menu, you're doing something wrong. If you're not drag and drop and you're pressing F to pick everything up, you're wasting time. Lots of time.
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of time.
Oh, I mapped my inventory to clicking the mouse scroller.
Oh God.
So I don't have to tab or anything. I play a lot.
I'm aware.
Oh yeah.
I'm making fun of him
because John's a douche.
Yeah. One criticism of the last podcast, one of my friends listened to it, and they were very upset with my knowledge of games. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Speaking of knowledge of games coming around, a couple things have happened on the cross-platform route. So apparently, people in I don't remember what game it was, but they were able to play with.
Did they confirm this?
Yes, they played with people.
No, did Sony and Microsoft confirm this?
No, it was like an accidental thing. Somehow
they recognized the gamer tag. They had the Xbox, like literally had Xbox in the gamer tag, but I haven't seen any actual confirmations.
But that leads me into the next thing. Minecraft is making Xbox One, PC, and basically every platform, and the Switch, I think. Every platform besides PS4, because I don't know what the deal is with PS4.
They can't enforce any rules on those people.
Oh,
if someone's cheating and I, as a Sony player, reported them to Sony can't do anything. If they are telling me they're going to murder me, Sony couldn't do anything.
But Minecraft is finally doing like cross-platform stuff, so you can play with people on Xbox and PC, which I thought was pretty cool.
See, Microsoft can do that because Microsoft has a PC thing also.
Yeah.
I understand why Sony doesn't want to do it. Honestly, it doesn't bother me that
it doesn't bother me either, but it would be pretty cool to kind of like end. I don't know. Once you make everything cross-platform, it doesn't really make what you're playing on.
I mean, it's exclusives, which is why it's surprising me Microsoft is pushing for it so hard. Because their exclusives are pretty garbage. Yeah. Almost all the time.
I think that's why they're kind of.
They have Halo. Halo, anything else? Anything?
Recore?
They're going to have PUBG for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they have the early access.
Lara Croft. Lara Croft's a good one.
So we had to stop recording real quick. Took a break. Now we're back. You've only missed like 10 minutes of stuff. And now we're talking about Xbox exclusives. That's where we left off. Sorry, this is gonna be a weird jump.
We'll figure it out.
It's fine. Soren is gonna do some editing, and we'll figure it out. So we were kind of talking about Xbox exclusives, and we were kind of talking about the Fractured Butthole, which is the new South Park game that is coming out. Did any of y'all play the first one?
No.
God, no, but I wanted to.
What?
I know. I heard it was amazing. I heard the Stick of Truth is this crazy RPG that you wouldn't think would be great.
Y'all.
Okay.
How have I played a game?
It's just this one thing. I don't know. I was like, I don't really want to play the comedy thing.
It was amazing.
I don't know.
It was literally the most fun I have really ever had playing a video game.
Is that the one, or is it the new one where it gets more difficult depending on your skin color? That's the new one? Okay.
Yeah, that's... Dang. Yeah, which I was like, good for you.
They're getting
like,
real.
Good.
I was like, wow.
And for that, so that recent thing going around about Kanye West and stuff in the game, there's a scene, or part of his quest is that you get on a unicorn and you play Flappy Bird with the unicorn, and it's just like they just make jokes the whole time. The unicorn's like farting on its way to going through instead of flying like a dumbass bird. But it's just so meta. I knew that I missed a big good game when I didn't play the Stick of Truth. It's like $9 on Steam sales nowadays.
Oh my god!
Every now and then, yeah, I know. I'm probably gonna, when it comes out, it'll probably go on a sale, and I'll probably get it when that next game comes out.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is $7.49 on Humble Bundle right now.
$7.49. Oh boy.
It's on sale on Humble Bundle.
I pre-ordered this game because I know I have that much faith.
The Fractured Butthole?
Yes. And I got a deluxe edition
of the Fractured Butthole?
Yes. Well, maybe it's
you
not
just
the
want to
deluxe.
say that as
Fractured
much.
butthole.
Not that one.
Yeah. If you know, it just kept going butthole.
I did the deluxe edition, and you get a Cartman on his tricycle.
Like a statue?
Not a statue. It is a
Action figure?
remote control vehicle. And Soren liked that a lot. And that's why he's dying. So I did that because I have expendable income, I guess.
Funny. I think we're kind of done.
Yeah, I think so. So Malcolm has to leave here in the next.
Throwing a concert.
In the next 5 seconds, Malcolm is very proud because he's putting on a concert for our university.
Plain white tees, baby.
Plain white tees.
Should have been Hot Shell Ray.
Hot in the mid 2000s, if that.
Hey, let me know if the band.
If that. 2005.
No,
#1
that's
hit.
mid 2000s. That's literally the definition.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So if
New album dropping next spring.
Is it?
Yeah.
They're
Are you
still putting out
serious?
music?
Yeah. They're about to have their 20-year anniversary. Come them. Don't you remember Shadies were coming?
Tomorrow? Yeah. I think so.
I'm probably gonna be watching football because I play fantasy football.
You know it doesn't change if you watch it,
Yeah,
right?
that too. I don't watch it either, but I play.
Oh,
Who's your quarterback right now?
Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
What a scrub.
Doing pretty well.
What a scrub! Well, okay, so he was a scrub week
get
one.
Week
Kaepernick.
one, he sucked, yeah.
Get
By
Kaepernick.
some miracle, though.
Yeah.
Because
I'm calling it. Kaepernick top fantasy score next week.
He's not even on a team.
Just wait.
Just wait.
Just wait.
Everyone's like, we support him, but then, like, he still doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
But he... That's it, okay.
No.
Damn it.
That's not.
Because Kaepernick and PewDiePie... Not the
They
same.
should be on a football team.
But he
together?
tried to do something good, and people shit in his mouth for it. But then he
That's
also
true.
donates to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So he does nothing but good.
I don't think it's not. I don't think it's equatable though.
It's not equatable, but it's like
it's
You just
you
don't-
do
you
something
just
good,
compare, like,
everyone
the
shits
opposite
on you.
things.
Everyone shits on you. You do something bad, and everyone's like, well, you know, it's PEWDS.
right.
The people really
I
in the wrong are
understand.
Firewatch. They shouldn't have said anything. They should be emotionless and thoughtless
What was
beings that put
Firewatch
out
again?
games.
What?
It was the indie game of the year last year.
Puzzles.
Yeah, it was like one of those wandering
Oh
games.
wait, wasn't that the?
It was
one
the
where
indie
you're
game of the
a,
year last year.
You're like a parks person.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You're a Firewatcher.
I played that for a while, and like the one thing
Literally what you are.
I only played it once, but the only thing I saw was, or the thing I remember is that like kids were in a river, like swimming when they weren't supposed to. That's all I got.
I never played it. I don't do indie games for the most part.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm not artsy enough like
right.
you guys.
Yeah. I don't do indie games. I play Battlefield 1. That's like one of the biggest AAA titles of like.
They're pretty indie.
It's not.
Are
Literally
they Call of
EA.
Duty? Are they Call of Duty?
RTX actually just has like a
No.
indie line, so
Oh, yeah.
like they give free codes and stuff. So I got to play Black Ice.
We should start giving out stuff on this.
But
this
we
is
don't have
stuff.
sponsors.
I will try.
No,
and
you
start-
just buy like a key for something and you give
Oh,
out the key.
that? Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. I was like, what do you mean?
Like we buy shit on sale.
yeah, so
and
this
give
is
it
us
up.
trying to conclude a podcast.
That's true. There's still usable content in here. We're fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of usable
It's gonna be
content.
so choppy.
Yeah. All right. Well, so is that it then? We're good. All right.
You got an outro?
Oh wait! There's a video going around of Donald Trump mouthing Despacito. It's super funny.
That's
Just
why
throwing
is
it
this
out there.
pertinent? It's not.
Because he's a racist, and so is PEWDS. Ending on that.
And
And thin.
Wait, do you have an